Welcome back to the Skids and Giggles podcast. I am Pascal, chief instigator of this show and your host. I'm joined by my co-host and resident engineer, the yin to my yang, the Barney Rubble to my Fred Flintstone. Bryson, how's it going today?
Hey Pascal, good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Today we are joined by none other than the Pinkbike Photo of the Year winner, Jan Cadosch, as well as the writer in the now famous photo, Dario Lohner. How's it going, guys?
Really good. Thanks for having us.
Yes, pretty good. I'm happy. Thanks.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing this podcast in English. It really means a lot to us to be able to do this. And, we're looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, us too.
Well, speaking of Pinkbike, there are a couple of things Bryson and I would like to say before we dive into our conversation today. Most importantly, we would like to thank our listeners that have been part of this journey from very early on for the valuable feedback and the great interactions that we've had along the way, online as well as offline. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and we're curious to find out what else lies ahead for this podcast. As always, just let us know in the comments or in a quick message if you got any questions, comments, or concerns. We also want to say hi to the many new listeners that have come on board over the last few weeks after we got featured in a roundup on Pinkbike the other day. Welcome to the Skids and Giggles podcast. If you like what we're doing, then just give us a follow on Spotify or subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or any of the other platforms where you find great podcasts. We also republish our episodes to YouTube in video format, so you can also subscribe to our channel there if that's where you listen to podcasts. If you're looking for a back catalog, the show notes, or more info about the Skids and Giggles podcast, head on over to our website under skidsandgiggles.com. We also have a nice shop section on the website where you can get yourself some sweet stickers. Finally, we are also on Instagram where you can find us under the handle @skidsandgiggles and where you can slide right into our DMs. Right on, with that all out of the way, let's get back to Jan and Dario. Maybe to start with, we had, Zermatt is turning into a little bit of a theme on this podcast. And, this now infamous weekend at the back end of August last year. So why don't we talk a little bit what brought you guys to Zermatt last summer?
Yeah, actually, we were lucky that we even got there because we got a flat tire on our car on the way there. We just wanted to have some fun. We were there the year before already, and we had to do it again, meet some friends and take some shots.
Yeah, I mean, Zermatt's great for riding bikes, and then you can watch the pros, and you could watch Pascal ripping through in the Masters class as well.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, nice location, watch the race, and then ride some bikes for ourselves.
Oh, nice. But did you do? How long were you up there? Because obviously the now famous weekend that was just Saturday, Sunday, which was so horrible. But the rest of the week was actually pretty nice.
Yes, I think we were there actually from Thursday to Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. We had another video project going on, and then we needed some more time to ride our bikes for ourselves.
Okay. Well, nice. I mean, yeah. So I showed up on Friday lunchtime, and I literally just checked in my accommodation, got onto the gondola, and as soon as I came out of the gondola on top, it started raining, and it didn't stop until I left on Sunday.
Well, in between there was some snow. I guess it didn't rain all the time. Just snowfall in between.
Okay. So, so I mean, maybe let's talk a little bit about the photo. How, of course, listeners can give it a goog on how the photo looks. I think it's a stunning photo. Of course, the most iconic mountain that we have in this country, the Matterhorn. The very stunning scenery around the Matterhorn. The clouds just opening up, and of course, some interesting riding in that picture. So maybe let's talk a little bit about how it actually came to that photo.
Yes, that's actually a pretty funny story as well, because it was the day of the race, and we wanted to start the day with watching the race, but most of it got cancelled, and then we were like quite lost and figuring out where to go, and then we just saw the last riders.
Yeah, so actually we completely missed the race actually because they changed the stages too. So we went to the second stage first and waited for the riders for about 20 minutes, and then they told us that they were doing the other stage before. So we were just able to watch one stage of these two. And yeah, all we wanted to do was to ride our bikes a bit more because it was such a long day in the rain and we didn't do very much, but just a few pictures of the pros. And then we wanted to go up to the Gornergrat again. Got some dinner at Coop, went to the railway station, and then we saw at the webcam that the weather up there was stunning. We actually didn't really realize it before. I thought it's just a nice picture on the screen, and then we realized it's a webcam.
Stale photo.
Oh yes, yeah. We got really hyped and went up there, and yeah, it was such a stunning evening.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything because everything was just foggy down in Zermatt and rainy, and then we said, well, we don't care, just go up for one last ride, and then riding up the train, and we just broke through the clouds, and then there was that stunning scenery. It snowed on top, the sun just came out, and it was sunset. So we were like, oh my gosh, this is like the best light ever. And I wanted to start riding with the GoPro on my helmet, but I figured it didn't have battery. But luckily my camera had some battery left, and then we just started to take pictures. And I guess you could point the camera in any direction because the Matterhorn and the whole scenery was just so great. But I wanted to do that one really cool landscape shot, but I couldn't figure out a spot on the trail where everything matched perfectly, except that one last corner. That's like really shitty to ride, but I made Dario ride it like twice because I was like, yeah, no, we have to get that shot. I really like the framing and stuff, so just ride that corner even if it sucks. And yeah, I didn't think about the Pinkbike Photo of the Year at all until I posted the picture on Instagram, and one comment said, well, Jan, you should submit it to Pinkbike Photo of the Year. And then we did, and everything went the right way, I guess.
The rest is history.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, you know, what has been the reception ever since? Of course, I mean, the Pinkbike Photo of the Year is kind of a very prestigious competition for photographers, with, you know, some very famous or prestigious professionals. So what has been the feedback or the kind of the insights from that, the competition?
Well, I didn't expect anything. I was just like, if you don't submit the photo, you already lost. And then when I turned out to be in the top 32, it was really overwhelming for me. And more or less all the people around me just went crazy and got huge feedback that I already made that step. And yeah, it's really funny that like there's all the pro photographs and then there's me. And like actually most of those guys were on that day in Zermatt as well shooting the EWS. But I guess I had to edit the pictures from the race and didn't think about going up on the mountain again.
Exactly, they're too busy being professionals.
Exactly. And so that's quite funny that I'm like, yeah, just go out and ride and enjoy, and then everything can happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. One question I had, because obviously I followed a little bit on Pinkbike, is because if you look at the different articles that have been posted since, you know, there's other photos from that trip, and I think there's others that are, in my view personally, almost better than the one that won. What is your take on that?
Well, actually, you can submit 3 photos for Pinkbike Photo of the Year, and the one I also submitted was the shot where Dario was rolling down that slope, what got a lot of good feedback as well. But Pinkbike is selecting the top 32, and they selected the landscape picture. What's not the best riding, not the biggest whip, not the biggest jump or so, but the landscape and the emotions talk for itself, I guess, because so many people liked it. And it's more about the feeling you get from biking and being in a nice landscape rather than just doing crazy tricks.
It's certainly an emotional photo. It's got all the elements, and it gathered a lot of reaction from the commenters. One particular one that stood out to me was the headless rider comment. And, you know, Pinkbike is famous for its comment sections. Now that we know who the headless rider is, just wondering, did you end up naming that photo?
At least for me personally, not. It's one of my favorite photos, actually. That even before Pinkbike Photo of the Year, we were up there, and I said to Jan, "Hey Jan, this picture is going to be on my wall," and it is.
And it is.
But it doesn't have a name, so probably the headless rider could be one. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't give it a name either. Didn't do that very often because I don't know why we should give names to pictures. If the picture's powerful enough, why should it have a name? But yeah, I like the headless rider.
Yeah, I mean, you have Pinkbike. They give them so many names, so we don't have to. We can just pick one.
Looks like a session.
Just post it on Pinkbike and then
see what
let
happens.
the comments do the work for you.
So Pinkbike is known as basically the largest mountain bike publication ever. Winning Photo of the Year is sort of like winning Downhill World Champs.
As an amateur. Yeah. Actually, it was quite overwhelming. I didn't really know what's gonna happen. I still don't know it. But actually, at least in my opinion, I don't really care about it. I'm still doing my thing. I hope it's a really good chance for Jan to push the photography level. And yeah, let's see what it brings to us.
Yeah, for me, it's just all about passion. I'm still studying, so I don't have like all the time to shoot pictures, and I just do it as much as I can on the weekends and if I have like holidays. And so I don't put myself under a lot of pressure, but it's like the biggest and best feedback you can get. It's like, yeah, you got Photo of the Year, so what you're doing is actually pretty nice and a lot of people like it. So I'm for sure just gonna go and push it even more if I have time to, but I don't put myself under pressure that I have to shoot every day. Otherwise I'm not in the flow anymore and don't do it because I really like to do it and be out there, because I just want to get more pictures out and get money. And yeah, you can lose your creativity really fast if you're not in the flow, not in the right mindset.
Speaking of flow, how was the rest of that trail down to the bottom?
A lot better, actually. So I really like this trail. So from the top to the bottom, it's so rocky. You can choose your line everywhere. There's so many lines to choose. It gets flowier, more you're down. So
then you go into the glacier garden and then it gets rough again.
Yeah, that's true. This is where the stage, I don't know, what was it, 4 or 5?
That would have been
stage
it was
the Queen
3, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there, the flow stops pretty quick, but it's one of the nicest trails in Zermatt, in my opinion. Actually, I don't really know that many trails there, but the ones we did, I like it pretty much the most. But also because of the scenery, of course.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's with riding in Zermatt, that's kind of wherever you go, wherever you look, it's always this stunning scenery, even if it's not a nice day and you can't see the Matterhorn, but it's always like this beautiful mountain scenery, dramatic clouds, the valley. You can see all the way down to the valley floor in the valleys. You can, obviously you have all the mountains around it. So I mean, it's just, it's fantastic. And I guess maybe just from my side, I think what you said earlier, right? So what stood out from the picture, having seen the other 31 pictures, is kind of that it captures what people love about Zermatt, right? So it's kind of that dramatic mountain landscape, this, the terrain, how moody it can be, the light is crazy. And I mean, it's just, I think it's just probably the luckiest punch you've made in a long time. So, yeah.
That's for sure. That's why I also said in the interview on Pinkbike, it's like, just bring your camera as much as you can and just take pictures if you want to, but you can. Sometimes my camera is in my bag for like 3 days and I don't even snap a picture because, the flow was just really good on the bike and I didn't have to take a picture. And then if you're like lucky and get like really nice light or like one corner has a lot of low flying, so just snap that picture because you have your camera in your backpack.
What was some of the not so great feedback from the Pinkbike comment section? Of course, there was a lot of support, but there was probably also a few not so great comments. What was the highlights of that?
There were quite a few of them, but actually, I think in my opinion, it's quite normal because people are more happy to talk about something they don't like. So it's normal that you have more of the haters commenting than the ones who like the shot. But at least, I mean, there were more than 50% who liked it. But actually, I mean, my personal highlight of the negative comments was the one of Brandon Semenuk's one. It's just, I mean, I think he posted something about on Instagram, something like what a sweet gravel road or something like this. And I had to say, okay, I mean, come on, at least you can say that Brandon Zermatt took his time to comment on one of your shots. So thanks, Brandon, for wasting your time on our picture.
Exactly. But, I mean, again, just invite him over and then he can make his own picture of that trail and what kind of gravel road it is. I mean,
I think it's hard for the people from the US or something else outside of Europe to like get how trails are here. Like you have the accessory with trains and gondolas, and then you just go up on the mountain and you're like really on high altitude and just start riding from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, what people forget is that, some of the trails here in Europe, they've not been purpose built for bikes. They've been around for hundreds of years, and they've been used by farmers and goats and smugglers and whatnot to cross the mountains. And they're as I say, they've organically grown over the years. So we just ride them because that's the only thing we have, right? So it's not like we have. And of course, Zermatt is investing a lot, and other destinations are investing a lot into purpose-built trails, but that's still a small portion of the trails that we have here. Bryson, you had something?
Yeah, I wanted to point out that that's one of the things we want to get across to our listeners, especially the ones that are listening from outside of the country. We want to let them know what it's like to ride here and introduce them to the fantastic characters that we come along in our riding journeys. And
absolutely. And the other thing, maybe to conclude the conversation about the race, was there any other interesting takeaways from the race? From what you did see?
Yeah, I mean, all of these races where you can see the pros are so fascinating to see how fast they are actually going. I mean, now I live in Lenzerheide, so I've been watching the World Cup and World Championships quite a few times. And I mean, downhill is super nice to watch, but they can practice. I don't know how many times they can do this run, and then you can see the CWS pros. They do it once. They got their GoPro run. On race day, it looks completely different. There's snow in it, and they are just fully charging down there, and it's so impressive to see them ride.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, it's the yes, I did get a qualification out of this weekend, but I have no no misconception about my skill level in comparison to the real elite. So, and that's just crazy to see how how they can go from one practice run, because that's all what you get, and it's a bit of GoPro, and then in this conditions that you were completely different on the race day than on Saturday, with half the stage cancelled and half the other half of the race cancelled as well. So you basically have like half a queen stage and one full stage, and that's the race. And and then in those conditions to still put a race like that together is fantastic to watch, but completely beyond me on how how I should be putting that together myself at this stage. So I mean, you talked a little bit about Zermatt and the riding in the region. You said you like it quite a bit, but I mean, what else did you like about the trip to Zermatt?
Zermatt overall is like really nice because it's quite technical most of the time. So you don't have that many bikers, and if the weather's bad, you don't have hikers either. So that's a big plus. And just the whole Zermatt scenery and to see the friends from Wallis, that's a big part why we travel 5 hours to Zermatt. It's always a big ride, but it's always worth it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what people forget. Even in our small country, Zermatt is a pain to get to wherever you are in the country, unless you're like down in directly below in the valley. Then it's always a pain to get there. And I think it's also like a couple of my friends that traveled for the EWS from England and other countries that Of course, you add the complication of this being Switzerland and everything is so expensive, but then you add that you can't actually drive a car into Zermatt, and then you always have to take the train, and so that's it's a complicated destination, but I think it's well worth the trip.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to come back to your question, in my opinion, when we go to Zermatt, this is a highlight as itself, because it's something completely different than what we have here. And you can see different people, the trails are completely different, and it's just special to be there.
To add to that perspective, I'll give you my first experience in Zermatt. I was super pumped up, heading there with some family members, and we get there. It's a beautiful day. We arrive in this valley, and you're looking up at the Toblerone, and the very tip was just covered in clouds for the full day, and I didn't get to see the actual top. So you could imagine like how high it was and how it looks at the top, because everyone's seen a Toblerone box, right?
I live here in Graubünden, like forever. Forever is about 25 years. But last 2019 was the first time I saw the Matterhorn live. And we arrived there, and we could see it from our terrace, more or less. And I told Jan, hey, okay, you can leave me here. Come back at Sunday evening to bring me back home. But I'm happy. I'm more happy than ever to just sit here. So I don't need more than that.
Oh yeah, no, it is a magic mountain. Once you've seen it, it doesn't let you go. It's just you have to look at it.
So Jan, you told me you're studying. But also, I've noticed that you work with some very nice brands. Have the experiences working with these brands changed something for you? How you compose yourself, how you go about kind of as a professional or semi-professional, as well as doing school?
Well, actually, nothing changed because of the Pinkbike Photo of the Year or something. I'm really just down to earth, or at least I hope I am. And I'm just trying to get my study to finish, so my parents are happy, and I have finally my degree, and then I can start living more with my passion and taking more pictures. But I never rushed anything. I never pushed myself into brands like, here I am, take me now, and I take the best pictures ever. It's more that I just wanted to always over-deliver, more or less. So if somebody asked me to take pictures, I just wanted to give them really good pictures and 3 pictures more. So they were like really happy with my work. And then Instagram's a good marketing place, but if brands like you, they talk to other brands, they work together, and then you get bigger connections and your network gets bigger, and then you have more clients, and then I don't even have time to shoot everything because I still want to do it like really good as I can. So that's my approach on that.
Well, how did you actually get into, taking photos? Has that always been like a passion or a hobby, or, have you always been riding around with a camera in your backpack, or how did that happen?
I actually don't know. It's just I had a camera when we traveled with my family for holidays, and then I started taking some pictures, and then I just really liked kind of creating something, and I taught myself everything from YouTube, like what's depth of field, like how to use the camera as a tool. And I just started taking pictures of random things in our house, and then I just took it with me riding bikes and skiing, and then I started shooting friends, and I was never happy with my pictures, so I just wanted to get better and better. And I'm still in that stage. I'm like, okay, I got Pinkbike Photo of the Year, but it could be better. So it's like always just that drive to improve myself and give every day my best, and taking new pictures and getting more ideas and trying to execute them as good as I can. And everything just went off.
So now that you have the excitement and the motivation from Photo of the Year, do you have some plans in the works for maybe a project up and coming?
Well, there's a lot of projects going on. It's always like my time at university. It's just like my time where I plan my shootings. I'm like on fat maps all the time and different maps. Just, ideas come whenever. Like that's that common theme, like people get the best ideas in the shower. But that's actually true. If you just live and don't think, those really great ideas come along. And so I'm really pumped for summer because I have lots of different projects already that I'm going to shoot.
So you're living close to a mountain region, Davos, I believe, right?
Yes, I live down in the valley between Chur and Langquart.
Nice.
But I ride a lot in Davos, but also Lenzerheide and more or less whole Graubünden. It's like my backyard. So I have also like a lot of different options, and because I know a lot of different places, I can like have different ideas, and I know a lot of different trails where I want to shoot that one. I have to go to Davos if I have to shoot something else. I know Lenzerheide is better or Laax is better, and that really helps.
Okay, and then it's your inspiration for your photos, is that coming more from your own writing, or is that coming from, you're always kind of influenced by what other media you consume? What are kind of your influences? Is it more the skiing world, more the riding world? Or just your own imagination?
I think it's everything and nothing at the same time. Like a lot of skiing influenced me how I ride bikes, I would say. I'm quite a playful skier, and so that's kind of the flow I want to take on the bike as well. And then I took some inspiration from biking for skiing as well. And for pictures, there's so many landscape pictures out there that are really nice, but it's like you've seen so many landscape pictures that it quite kind of gets boring. And my takes really how to integrate a skier or biker or hiker into that beautiful landscape to get even more emotions into the pictures. And so that's kind of my influences.
Okay, that's interesting, because that's what I thought when I first saw the photo. is my riding and has also been hugely influenced by backcountry skiing, and as a teenager and young adult, I've consumed endless videos and photos and whatnot of big mountain skiing. So like the Seth Morrisons and all these kind of guys, and if you follow their kind of publications that they've been featured in, it's never really a photo of a huge trick or whatever, or a huge jump or something. It's always kind of almost like the skier is kind of a something on the side, and kind of the landscape and the mountains, etc., speaks for themselves. So that's why I wondered if kind of where your inspiration is coming from, because it's kind of, for me, it talks both languages of the kind of the skiing photography as well as the biking photography.
Yeah, and the cool thing about skiing, like my approach on ski photography is like I have that nice landscape kind of as a painting, and then I can talk to the skier, and the skier can actually draw the line into that painting, how it fits the best. And that's my kind of approach in skiing. But in skiing, you have like one shot, and then it's tracked. So you have like
then
some
your canvas
lines in
is
there.
done.
Exactly. And then the good thing is with biking, you have like you can ride as many times as you want because the trail just stays there. But you're quite limited where the trail is. So you as a photographer, you have to move more to get like the line of the trail into the picture. And that's quite challenging sometimes, but also really rewarding if you like get the shot.
So I guess it's kind of, as I say, skiing is a one or done, and the other one is kind of you have a couple of takes. Okay. When you're not schlepping your backpack around with your camera, where do you ride? Where do you ride the most? Where do you like riding the most? Is it just at home?
Yes, I think Graubünden is just such a big, nice playground. And if you live there, it's like not necessary to go anywhere except Zermatt because it's totally different and just sick. But yeah, I really like Graubünden, and especially Davos because the trails are kind of different and a little harder than the rest sometimes. But for me, also like the people you ride with make like 50% of the ride. The trail can be as good as like ever, but if the people suck, it's not fun. And so also a medium trail can be really cool if the right people are around, like Dario.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I was about to say. I mean, Dario. I mean, obviously you live in Lenzerheide. We've been talking about Lenzerheide quite a bit on the podcast already. But where do you like riding the most?
Yeah, so actually, I wouldn't even say that I like to ride like it the most in Lenzerheide, because you have so many possibilities all around. It's so easy to connect Lenzerheide with Davos, with Arosa, of course, Chur, Alpenbike Park. You have endless possibilities. I mean, you could do a tour starting in Lax, going over to Chur, Brembruesch, Alpenbike Park, Lenzerheide, and ended up in Arosa. Graubünden as a whole is such a nice playground, and I can't even point one destination out of it, because it's like the whole region which makes it special or beautiful, because you have pretty much everything in a nice reaching distance. So I don't want to go anywhere else actually. I've said to my friends quite a few years ago already, I don't want to pack my bike into an airplane until I've got everything on my bucket list covered, which I can even see from my bedroom. And there are still so many trails I want to ride, and it's a never-ending story in Graubünden, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's also a good project now during a pandemic where you can't travel easily anyway. So
definitely,
it's a good summer project.
When you went out to Zermatt with Jan for the WS and you decided, okay, let's take another run, did you think you'd be the subject in the Pinkbike Photo of the Year?
Not at all. I didn't even think about taking out the camera or something. We just want to have some fun, and yeah, actually, it was quite an interesting story afterwards. So good to see this picture on all the like screensavers worldwide. So definitely wasn't expecting that.
He's just lucky that I force him to do something like that all the time, because sometimes he has to go up quite a few times until I'm happy. So
yeah, maybe it's also
really
because of my riding style. So if it would have been better on the first try, I wouldn't have to walk up there as many times. But hey, I'm progressing, or we are progressing.
Have you guys been working together for some time, or is that the first time that you've done some actual photo work together?
So actually, we grew up quite close, but we met each other in Zug. So we where we came together for an ambassador project with Atomic Ski. We didn't meet before, and since then. Yeah, of course, it's clear that we had to do a lot more together because we are so close, and then it transformed from winter to summer, and yeah, we managed to organize each other a few deals. I got him the first boat bike, he got some cloths for me and other stuff, and this is how it continues, I think.
Yeah, now working with a lot of the same brands, it's actually quite easy for me as a photographer as well, because he already writes the products I have to take pictures of, and since we match quite good, he knows exactly what I want him to do, and so we can work quite efficient. And then it's just like, okay, let's snap those pictures, and then we got the work done, and now we can just write 2 more times because we still have time.
Okay. But Dario, you're also kind of dabbling in both skiing and mountain biking. How did you get into this whole, taking photos and riding and skiing and all that?
Yeah, so actually I grew up with alpine ski racing, but I wasn't very talented. At least I realized it early enough. And then with about 15 years, I quit ski racing. But I wanted to do something else, which is like a bit competitive. And then I started to do like cross country and marathon races. And this is how I got into mountain biking. But as soon as I've got my first proper bike, I didn't want to pedal up anymore. And this is how I started to ride some better trails instead of just pedaling up and be too tired to enjoy the downhill. And yes, this is how it started actually. And then I started working at the ski school during school. Afterwards, I managed to get into the bike school, and then I was able to earn some money with what I love, and this is what I still do.
Okay, and has this this win for the photo, has that opened up new possibilities for the both of you, or are you gonna go? Are we gonna just as it happens, or are you planning it together? So do people want photos of the two of you again, or is it just a happy coincidence?
Probably because of the photographer, but with a more talented rider. Let's see what Pinkbike says.
Well, it's clear in the Pinkbike comments. No, actually, I'm just going with the flow. Nothing like dramatically changed or something. It's just really cool to be up there with the best of the best in the bike photography game. But I still have quite a lot to learn how to get money from single pictures. And I just don't have that much time to put more time into that because I'm already just studying or working. So I'm just taking it as it is, and just I got my projects for summer already, and I got those projects independently from the Pinkbike Photo of the Year. So people and brands want to shoot with me anyways. so nothing really changed at the moment, at least for me. But I'm sure a lot of people saw my name the first time, and you never know what the future brings.
I think it's a really good message. I guess another reoccurring theme we're having on the podcast recently is that we've just had some people on that have just been trying to apply themselves where they have interest, where they have talent, and some good things come out of it. So we've had others who are in the same position as you, where they are either juggling, trying to deal with school and other things, school and racing, or traveling and sponsorship or whatnot. And when they're applying themselves, when they're just putting their head down, doing their work, their best work is coming forward, and people are really taking notice of it. So kudos to you, and as well to Dario.
Yes, that's exactly my opinion too. It's just do what you love and be passionate about it, and then your work's way better than if you just force something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to ride some trails with Jan, take some pictures. We still got the same partners, and we try to do some good content for them. But we don't have like any pressure to deliver. I mean, I'm working in summer. I'm working 100%, so I'm not I'm not into this influencing business at all. I just like to have fun on my bike and on my skis. And it's nice that you can take some good shots, post them, and sometimes get a better deal for some stuff. And that's I don't need more than that, actually.
Okay. Do you have looking not necessarily only towards this summer, maybe next summer and the summer after next summer? Do you have any more goals in terms of photography? Do you want to make this like a full-time career, or you're fully set on your studies and then whatever that career brings?
Well, so I'm studying sports science and chemistry, and I actually want to be a teacher. And it's quite hard to get a 100% job there. But my plan for the future, at least at the moment, is that I have like 2 days of school, and then the rest I'm like free to take pictures. And if I have a lot of work, I just take a lot of pictures. And if I don't have anything to shoot, it's fine as well, because I still have like my kind of safe job in the back, and then it doesn't get boring either, because I'm still in the school with the kids teaching them something, but I'm not always there. So I still have like my free time, and then I will see how many projects I get. But I really love taking pictures, being outside, and it's my biggest passion. And yeah, if I get money from that, what else would I want?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's a little bit of a saying where they say in moto racing, it's like 80% bike, 20% rider. The bicycle is about 50-50 maybe or so. But when it comes to photography, how much would you say is skill, experience, or luck? And how much is it equipment?
Really sick question. I've never really thought about that. But it's a lot.
Maybe I can say something about it, because I started taking pictures a bit kind of because of Jan, or actually because of Atomic, because I got into this team and had to take some better pictures. So I got a better camera, of course. And with Jan, I realized that my camera can't take sick pictures for itself. And this is how I started to realize what photography is all about, and what's the difference between my pictures and Jan's pictures. I mean, it's like a beginner level camera I bought, which cost about 600 francs with two lenses, and it's nice to start with. And I'm pretty sure I would say, the emotions and the picture, what you like about the picture is 90% at least, or it's about 100% photography skills, or what the photographer can make of it. and like the technical quality, or like the, how do you say,
The camera.
yeah, how sharp the picture is and all this stuff. Of course, this is the equipment, but the photo for itself is much more because of the skills. And
I think you could compare it to a chef in the kitchen. The camera is just a tool. It's like the pan, and if you're a good chef, you can cook on anything. And that's more or less the same thing with the camera. It's just a tool. What sometimes limits you, like with what focal lengths you have or how sharp the picture is. But most of the thing that makes the picture great is how you compose the picture. And I always draw the picture in my head first before I press the shutter. Because, yeah, so many people just randomly take pictures, and then maybe with luck, they need more luck then, and then there's one good picture. But if you like start drawing it in your mind, you just snap that one shot or like those two shots, and then everything works. And then there's a lot of planning usually for those really, really, really great shots. There's a lot of planning. Photographers sometimes take 3 to 10 years to capture that one picture until everything aligns. And then with more planning, you get the luck side out of it more. And then sometimes, like the picture photo of the year, it's like at least 50% luck, because we were just at the right time in the right spot to take the picture, because we didn't plan any of that. But you could, but then you have to be like really flexible with your timing. So if the weather aligns and everything works perfect, you can actually shoot the picture, but that sometimes takes quite a long time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's actually exactly the same as high-level athletes approach peak performance, right? So it's not, if you compare, let's say, a seasoned professional to a junior, they probably can achieve both the same run, the same speed, the same whatever it is. But the thing is, the difference between a junior and the high-level professional is that the high-level professional can do it every weekend. And a junior, it's kind of, the magic happens because, he was at the right time and everything was going the right way. He slept well and he was having a great week in school or whatever. And
enough gummy bears.
Enough gummy bears. And the professional is kind of, he needs to find a process whereby he prepares for a weekend. He has kind of his things that are important to him, and then he executes along that process to make sure that the magic happens on the weekend, right? So it's kind of a similar approach, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like that. More planning, more skill, more routine. You can deliver constantly, and somebody that's just not used to it as much just needs more luck to get the same result, more or less.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. I guess we're getting, towards the end of our time here. So we would like to go through our closeout questions, if you don't mind. This is the first time that we actually have two guys giving the answers to our closeout questions, so we can maybe do a highlight reel of sorts. Right, let's get into our first one. We haven't actually talked about bikes. Well, you talked about your bold bikes, but maybe there's some more about that first bike that got you really stoked about riding. Tell us about that.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I started with cross country and marathon racing, and then I bought the first Scott Genius LT, which was on 27.5 wheels. This was available in like a small, medium, and large frames, and I'm 1.92 m tall, so large wasn't really actually that large. So the reach I had there is now the reach on a small frame. And this is how it looked and rode like.
BMX.
But yeah, yeah, for sure, definitely. And I went over the bars quite a few times, but it got me stoked on riding trails and taking the chairlifts up the hill instead of pedaling up there. And I never got back to the hardtail again. And I don't miss it.
And you, Jan?
Well, my bike history is quite special. As a little kid, like a 10-year-old, I rode a lot of bikes and I built jumps to jump over my sister. But then I did a lot of different sports and forgot about biking quite a lot. And then actually my Bolt Unplugged Volume 1 got me really, really, really hyped again on riding. And from there, I'm just in summer, just ride every day if I can.
Okay, well, I guess it's not a bad thing if you're living in Graubünden, so.
Yeah, and his bike was like a tank. So I was on a light trail bike in this season, and he didn't have any problems to follow me because he just went straight through all the stuff, and I had to worry about my rims and about everything. But he didn't have any problems to catch up with me, and I think, yeah, it wasn't just because of the bike, but it got him stoked, of course.
Very good, very good. Well, the second one is a special one. Imagine both of you, you're Harry Skidini and you are bike magicians extraordinaire. And you can make riding a bike more awesome for anyone by the stroke of your magic dropper post. What would you do?
I've thought about that question, and for me, it's more respect and tolerance on the trails. Graubünden's doing really great with all the hikers and the bikers respect the hikers and brake, and the hikers move out of the way and say grazie, and everything's fine. But not everywhere in Switzerland it's the same. And if I have had a wish, that's my wish, to have more respect for the bikers and also the bikers for the hikers.
Yeah, very good. Fair Trail. What is the initiative last year, this year?
Yes, exactly. Fair Trail.
Yeah, that was very good. And again, just have to put that in there. Graubünden is really doing a great job. Every hiking trail is a biking trail, and unless there is a clearly marked sign that says you can't, whereas in other regions it's basically very difficult. Back to you, Dario.
Yeah, so I want to point out what Yeti already said, because I work as a bike guy too, and I really have to say that looking ahead is the most important thing. But I want to point out something different to it, and it's just speed is your friend, because when I when I see the beginners in my lessons, and I have to ride the trails at their speed, it gets even difficult for me. So just try to let off your brakes, and no, don't risk too much, but just try to go a little bit faster and just brake before the turns and not everywhere, and it gets a lot easier.
Okay, question 3, the fabled skid question. I'm going to deliver this in a 2-part, so you guys have to answer the individual questions catered to you. Jan, outside of respecting other trail users and the nature, what makes a great skid?
Well, actually, if your skid leaves a nice darker area behind your back wheel, and then in that right spot actually some milk is coming out of your tire, then you overdid it, but in a good way. So yeah, just get that milk out of your tire, and then everything's great.
Pressure police is going to be out in force.
That's for sure. We just want to get those comments, Comments are engagement.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Dario, can you tell me a little bit about what kind of speed you need for a skid?
Much speed. Quite a lot of speed, I would say. Speed is your friend, I said before. So actually, I'm not good at skids at all, because I think as an instructor, I have to coach people to lean their bike into the turn way too often. And so I can't do it else than that. But I'm learning it because my flatmate is pretty good at it, and at least he can teach me there now. But speed is your friend.
Very good. Very good. Well, guys, thanks again for sitting down with us tonight. It was really, really, really cool to talk to you guys. If listeners have any questions or want to learn more about you, maybe some more comments, where can they find you?
Yeah, luckily on Pinkbike, if they scroll down a bit, so they can find us and the comments in one. Yeah, it's _Dario_L. That's just because I can't change it anymore to a better name because they are all taken, and it's about 10 years old, this name, but it still is there.
Still works. And you, Jan?
Yeah, and for me on Instagram, it's Cadosch, or my website's jancadoschphoto.com, where you see more of just my work, and Instagram is just more me and blah blah, actually.
Marketing tool.
Exactly.
Engagement.
Engagement, just random things to open doors with brands.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks again. This is cool. Bryson, thank you. Glad your battery made it all the way here. And, well, we talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Merci.